I founded Current Power Technologies and started it in my garage.
And I think it's 5 to 10 years that we are walking a very fine line with the grid and power reliability and power quality.
Just create good people, create a good culture, and then, I've seen it where if you can create a good culture and a bad egg comes in, you don't have to do anything. That culture will spit that bad egg out really quick. About 7,000 new electricians are created for every 10,000 that leave. So that delta right there, that 3,000 delta is a shrinking pool.
Welcome to the Standby Generator Podcast, brought to you by Power Alliance. I'm your host, Jim Swetman. Together, we will dive into the world of the standby power business, offering expert insights, industry trends, and actionable strategies to help you grow and scale your generator business. Whether you're looking to optimize your operations, increase profitability, or stay ahead of the curve, this podcast is your go-to resource. So grab a seat and let's power up your business for success. Hello, and thank you for joining this week's episode of the Standby Generator Podcast. I'm your host, Jim Swetman, and I'm extremely excited for our guest that's here today. And it's Grant Winston, and Grant is owner of Current Power Technologies, and he's in his main office is in San Antonio, Texas, also serving Austin, and also has an office in Houston, Texas as well. So welcome, Grant.
Pleasure to be here, Jim. First time on a podcast, but excited to see how this goes.
We're gonna get you loosened up here. We're gonna get you going here. It's just something fun to have an opportunity to chat with dealers throughout the country just to get their perspective of the standby generator market and how things are going in their area and kind of what their business plans are and things like that. So just a fun few minutes here. So Grant, why don't you give us a little background of how you got started in the standby business and take it away.
Sure. So, my background was oil and gas services, and was involved with a great group that my friend started called Petro Waste, and we grew that business and sold it off, and that closed around 2019, which is when I founded Current Power Technologies and started it in my garage. A couple of friends and I sat around and talked about, after we sold Petro, it's like, what's next? And the thought process was actually looking at they were building these Connex boxes that were for oil and gas services that were solar, battery storage, and a small Kohler generator. And we're kind of looking at that, and I focused in actually on the batteries at the time. And called the manufacturer and ended up meeting with them, and I was a authorized distributor of these batteries. But that really never took off. The company was basically pre-revenue all the way until when Snowvid is what I call it, or Winter Storm Uri in Texas, and kind of light bulb went off, and I was like, you know what would sell? Standby generators. And so we had a relationship with that Kohler distributor, and so I called them up, and then I did some Googling. I called Generac up the second day of Winter Storm Uri, and the feedback I got was, we're gonna need all the help we can get. Welcome aboard. So That's kind of how we got kicked off. Um, and
How much were you involved in? That was in 2021, right? February of 2021 was Uri. How much
Mhm.
involved were you? Obviously, you lived some of it. Were you impacted personally by that big outage in 2021, or how did that all unfold for you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We were without power. We had the fireplaces going. Um, we I was actually rationing the firewood. I helped.
Oh,
I think I gave my neighbor some firewood for. Well, actually, I ran out of firewood. My neighbor had firewood, and I was still skilled in the sourdough bread making from COVID, right? So I was a sourdough guy, and so I got my skills out and was able to because you couldn't get bread at the stores, like everything was
oh.
shut down. It was Armageddon, and so I made a loaf of bread and traded it for firewood. So yeah, I was in the middle of all of that, and um, luckily was able to create a business from that because at that time after that storm, it was, I call it like catching sand, right? Like you can put your hands out and the sand is constantly falling, but you can only hold so much, right?
Mhm.
Especially with a startup, right? I didn't have the infrastructure in place. I
Yeah.
didn't have the sales infrastructure. I didn't have the operations infrastructure. Like, starting from scratch, I wasn't able to grab as much sand as I would have liked looking back, but it was enough to get things going. So
Yeah. Yeah, it is there's been a lot of, you know, look behind as far as what caused all that and the issues, and it really kind of, and you're kind of into this, is it kind of exposed, the power grid itself, because you guys are your own kind of suppliers down there at the Texas grid down there, and then there's two other big pieces. But it really exposed kind of what can happen, when you are not organized and rely on renewables and they don't come in, and natural gas. I mean, it's just a really huge issue. So, I think that was a big, big wake up call, not only down south, but, everywhere in the United States, about how fragile the grid is around there.
yeah, absolutely. We're long generators. We don't see it getting better. Even if, like, let's say you and I, Jim, had the capital and wanted to build a natural gas fired power plant because we see um, the need in Texas. It's not financially viable due to um, the way the Texas market works. This wind and solar guys are able to operate below cost,
Mm.
um, and they're just disincentivize any sort of financing, banking, and it's just not financially viable to even build a new power plant the way the market exists. So until that changes, it's not going to get any better. But let's say we did have the funding, we pulled the trigger. That power plant, best case scenario, might be built in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
You and I couldn't even get a turbine for the
Yeah.
next 3 to 5 years,
Hmm.
right? Like just the turbine.
Hmm.
So um, I feel like we're on a train, going 100 miles an hour off a cliff, and there's no one to stop it.
Yeah.
As
No.
the market just doesn't incentivize people to build power plants. And then the infrastructure isn't there, and then even the equipment's not there. So it's just um, I don't see how we fix it. I've
Yeah.
listened to politicians talk about how they're fixing it. They just passed a Senate bill saying that every um, large demand center, like a data center, has to install backup power. That way, if the power grid starts to be
Mm.
stressed, they can come off the grid and run on their own power. So maybe little things like that, but that's not fixing the issue.
No,
That's just
no.
that's just band-aids, and really expensive band-aids.
I think
So
I think I agree. I think in this window we're in, and it's a window of vulnerability that we're living right now. And I think it's 5 to 10 years that we are walking a very fine line with the grid and power reliability and power quality. And I agree, which is good because it's a great time to be in the standby power business during this time. This episode of the Standby Generator Podcast is proudly presented by Power Alliance, the only mastermind community built specifically for standby generator dealers. At Power Alliance, we believe growth happens faster when you're connected. That's why we bring together like-minded dealers across the country to share real-world insights, solve challenges, and accelerate business success together. From streamlining operations to scaling your service division, Power Alliance gives you the tools, support, and community to take your business to the next level. Learn more and join the movement at www.poweralliance.com. Now, I see also obviously you do the standby generators, but you do electrical and the EV chargers as well. Can you explain a little bit about that, about the electrical and the EV? Do you do a lot of the EV chargers for the residential or commercial? Just curious.
yeah, absolutely. So uh, what I've discovered is the standby generator market is an amazing market, but it's a little bit lumpy. And so you've got I heard it called high tide and low tide in the generator market, and you got to make it through those tides. And I think a great way to do that is we're really good electricians. So we've diversified some in the last about 6 months only, really, to start really pushing just electrical work, commercial and residential. And then as the whole time we've been pushing EV chargers, it didn't quite take off like I thought it would. On the level 3 chargers specifically, those are controlled by a lot of big players that with general contractors, and there was just a ton of money chasing that. So we are focusing more on kind of level 2 but commercial. So think apartment complexes and retrofits and stuff like that. So that's been going pretty well. Not as good as the generator side, but just what has been going better than expected is just partnering with smaller to mid-sized GCs and getting in on again smaller commercial projects. I don't want to bite off more than we can chew, but it's just been really nice where we're doing generator installs some days, we're doing EV chargers some days, and then I got dedicated crews on these smaller commercial jobs that last for months, 2 months, 3 months, right? And it's been kind of a game changer for us to steady out that revenue stream and
that sounds good.
Get through the low tide periods.
No, that's good. Very, very well rounded on that. Could you explain to me? Go ahead.
And I just wanted to make one other point on that. So it also helps out in events. I'm trying to cross train all of my electricians, where at least every single electrician can also go out and change oil. In these big events, and you're on day 10 of an outage, which Houston experienced 2 of those last year. Every single one of your customers needs a PM at the exact same time. And I don't care how good you are as a generator company. It's a stressful time. So I've done a couple things. I've changed my service agreements where you've kind of got platinum, silver, and bronze, and those platinum guys, customers get priority during those times of crisis. And then on top of that, I've got 2 different divisions, and I can, everyone understands that in a crisis, they're hopping in a truck and they're going to be changing some oil. So it helps flex and respond better in those situations, because I've seen a lot of dealers struggle, and rightfully so, right? If 1,000 generators need a PM all in the same day, like what are you gonna do, right? So, but building out the company like we're trying to do, it helps us respond better to those situations.
Oh, very good. Yeah, very good planning. Very good planning, laying it out. That's really good. Could you explain to me what are the 4Fs concept for your company? Very, very interesting. If you could explain the 4Fs,
Yeah.
the concept as far as the baseline of how you run your company.
Yeah, so the 4Fs stand for basically every person in their life has 4 main buckets, right? And so you can divide those up into faith, family, fitness, and finance. And as you go through life, each one of those buckets can be a little bit empty and need help filling up. And it was about a year ago. I was challenged by a friend of mine to bring faith into my business, and it was a different concept. But I did some research, and it just kind of took quite some time to really frame it out in my head, how to do that. And the 4Fs came up, and it just clicked. Like, okay, that simplifies it. All right, so now how do I bring that into my business? And this is all relatively new, right? So, for example, next quarter, and the fourth quarter going forward will be based around faith. You got Christmas involved, and I just believe that everyone needs to believe in something. Otherwise, you'll be fooled by anything, right? So, it's not going to be one specific religion. It's going to be more like moral based, faith based. Just believe in something and talk about being a good person, being a good family man, strengthening the family. So if you kind of go backwards as well, I'm pushing hard into supporting the trades. So this all kind of goes hand in hand, where the goal of the company is to grow the trades and recruit young men and take them out of the college for all mentality, which has just been a disaster, where they go get, a low budget college degree, have student loan debt, and go sit in a cubicle somewhere. Like, time out. Come join me. I'm gonna. We're members of the IEC, so we'll put you through electrical school, which is a great organization. It's family based. It's not faith based, but it's family based, and very strict, structured school. And then come work for us, and we have our own internal programs. For example, on finance. Growing up, I went to a good public school, and then went to the University of Texas, but at no point was I taught personal finance. Personal finance. So next year we'll roll out the Dave Ramsey Smart Dollar program.
Oh, wow. Very good. Yes. Yep. The steps, was 4 steps or 7 steps, or I forget what it is.
Yeah, it starts with baby step number 1, create emergency fund, but they've kind of done it really well, and it's structured for companies like ours. And you can see who's using it, who's not using it. There's all sorts of metrics. They have built-in incentives. So, like, hey, because like, it's a great program, but if no one uses it, what's the point, right? So, and so that will be the Finance F next year. We'll roll out the Smart Dollar program. So again, the goal is to get these guys in our organization, make them great pillars of the community built around family, and hopefully that creates stickiness within our organization. Hopefully that creates quality of work, and then that all leads to more work, and then that all funnels up to profitability. So I call it a flywheel, right? So we're profitable, right? I'm a capitalist, and the goal of this company is to make money, and then I can take that money, invest in the 4Fs and in my employees with great benefits and personal finance, and just make healthy young men, and that brings us back to around to profitability. So that's the kind of the goal here is just create good people, create a good culture, and then I've seen it where if you can create a good culture and a bad egg comes in, you don't have to do anything. That culture will spit that bad egg out really quick.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Oh,
um,
exactly. Very good. What a great plan, Grant. What a great plan. Now I know Brittany, your wife, is there involved in the company. You have 3 daughters. Is the idea to bring in maybe the daughters eventually when they get a little older?
yeah, I'm not so sure about that. It's not. I mean, they'll have some like summer jobs and sweep the
Yeah.
floors and
Yeah.
help out with maybe some marketing stuff for sure. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
But Brittany does all our marketing.
Yep.
And she was doing a lot of our bookkeeping. We outgrew that, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
So we,
Yeah. Oh,
we
yeah.
outgrew that. She
Yeah.
did not have a accounting background, so we moved her into marketing where she's much more comfortable and
Oh.
has got a great eye of detail, and that's going real well. So
Well, no, I have 3 daughters as well, and they were summer help at the company that I owned. And, we had them in the office and, gave them the opportunity. And it was funny because all 3 have obviously different personalities. And,
mm,
they basically came back with the same thing. It was funny. Dad, it's so boring sitting in the office. That's all we do. And I said, it's more than that. I said, so, they didn't get involved with that, but I gave them a chance to see, what was going around. I didn't get them out in the field, at all, or had them run gas pipe. I didn't have them do any of that stuff. It was mostly office environment stuff. But
mhm.
yeah, they didn't have any interest, in
It, yeah,
that. So,
it is fun. It is fun teaching them about generators, and
hmm
they listening them to like maybe tell their friends what their dad does or whatnot. Like, my dad does generators. Like, their friends have no idea what that means, and so they'll try to explain it.
I know it.
uh,
Well, tell us about the standby generator market in your area, the San Antonio, Austin, and Houston area. Is it growing? Competition? And then
mhm.
really, kind of what makes you different than everybody else. So, just a general idea of what's going on down there in, Southeast Texas.
Sure. Uh, it's terrible. No one else should come in either of these markets or all three of them.
Very, very well put.
It's
Very well
very
put.
slow.
Stay out of that area.
Yeah, no, it competition does seem to keep popping up, but definitely totally different personalities. I think Austin and San Antonio are pretty similar markets. And then Houston, different animal for sure. So we,
Mhm.
we being, local here in San Antonio. I was born and raised in Houston, by the way. So
Okay. All
um
right. Okay.
so I was born and raised in Houston, and so it was a natural fit to move into that market. But started here in San Antonio, a sleepy market to start off with for sure, where there were almost no generator dealers here, because no one was buying generators. So why would there be existing dealers? There were some commercial guys running around, but not a lot of residential. So, but since then, several big guys have all come into San Antonio,
Mm,
but I
mhm,
I have my niche, and
mhm,
I've got a higher end market doing a lot of liquid cooled compared to the air cooled here in San Antonio, and
mm,
we also have great relationships in surrounding areas, doing a lot of farms and ranches, which we love to do.
mhm, mhm.
Just actually this morning, uh, closed a deal with the Frito Ranch, and so it's the
Oh.
creator of Fritos, which I've
Mm-hmm.
now since learned
Yeah.
was invented in San Antonio.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's just an example of a project that is our bread and butter. And
Yeah. Now,
then
how did he find you? What was was it,
that's a good question.
yeah. Was it through the
I
marketing or word of mouth or just
I
curious to
think
see
yeah, I'd have to figure
relationships?
that out. I
Yeah.
don't have that off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I think maybe Google. We spend a lot of money on Google ads,
Mm-hmm.
and Houston again is more challenging than San Antonio, but we spend a lot of
Mm-hmm.
money in Google, and hopefully just Googled us up, and then obviously have relationships with someone like a Generac, uh, where this lead could have come through the Generac marketing.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to figure out
Yeah.
exactly where it went.
Uh,
We do have a system that tracks all of that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
That'd be interesting to see how that.
yeah.
Another quick question for you. What is a standby generator provider, or really, any one of the other divisions of your company? What are some of the biggest challenges that you have right now?
So I'm
Is it,
trying to like kind of going back to the four Fs, right?
yeah.
I'm trying to turn this into a electrician creating machine, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to frame this as a people business that does electrical work, because without the people, we can't grow.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of back to your
Mm-hmm.
question, well, how do you grow? You need the people. Well, how do you get the people? You got to recruit them, and just to find a journeyman electrician is a nightmare. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Especially in San Antonio, I feel like I can recruit a little bit better in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
seem to exist more in Houston
Mm-hmm.
and be moving around, but uh, the culture right now, unfortunately, is to move companies for a couple bucks, right? And
Yeah. Yep.
it's a
Yep.
race to the top.
Yep.
And so again, I
Yeah.
want to pay
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
well, but create a culture that's sticky, and
Yep.
with amazing benefits. And you don't have to recruit guys and throw money at them, and they won't leave you for a dollar. So
Mm-hmm.
that's definitely the biggest challenge, and it will be the biggest challenge going forward. Um, you know, the trades. I believe there's a shift happening right
Mm-hmm.
now.
Mm-hmm.
And the IEC, for example, had both in Houston and San Antonio, both had record enrollment this year.
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
a shift is happening, but nationwide, uh, said about 7,000 new electricians are created for every 10,000 that leave.
Mm.
So
Mhm,
that delta right there, that 3,000 delta is a shrinking pool, and
mhm.
and as we go move forward
Yep,
and the grid becomes more unreliable, we're shifting to EVs. We're shifting all of those joules of energy from the gas pump into the grid. Uh, Electricians are going to
yep,
be more and more in demand, and at least with the last several years, it's a shrinking pool. So again, goes back to framing the company of building great young men, recruiting people into the company, training them up, and creating stickiness,
yeah, yeah,
so we can grow.
yeah. No, I went right into the trades right out of high school, and it worked out really well, up here upstate New York. It worked out fantastic. You're working outside, you're working with your hands, and the camaraderie working with the guys in the field was fun. You know what I mean? And it was a great learning experience for me being in the trades, and then eventually working that up, in business ownership, and to this point now with Power Lines helping out, dealers throughout the United States, helping them. But that's one of the things that I'm hearing, is the labor pool, is retaining um, electricians, technicians, even office staff, back office staff. And, and I see on your path there of be able to retain those people with with a 4F program. That's just fantastic. Last question here. Where do you see your company in the next 5 years? So where do you continuing to grow, of course, with this plan? Do you see the market there continue to grow? What is kind of your general outlook?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I've got more of a 10-year plan. I'm building this to be a valuable company. Do I have uh, I don't want to just build to flip. It is to build a great sustaining company over the next 10 years. Do we sell before 10 years? I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But the focus is a 10-year plan with continued growth over those 10 years. And we're looking at Houston, Austin, San Antonio, Gulf Coast is kind of our target markets. We're going to push more into the commercial side of things on the generators, which, as can be tricky. There's a pretty big moat around the way the distributors or the manufacturers have their distribution channels. So we're looking at some opportunities to see the best fit with that. And we're getting some swings. We're getting some big swings at the commercial side of things. So 10-year plan, kind of grow within this area, move more on the commercial side on the generators, and then continue to push on the commercial and residential electrical side, and just make this a electrician producing machine. And then hopefully that builds great young men, strong families, and those strong families are in the communities, helping out the communities grow. Because as everyone knows, the family unit has struggled over the last 30 years. And so hopefully we can do something and help build those family units within the communities we serve. So,
fantastic program that you got out. Well, that's just great. Well, Grant, thank you very much. Again, we were talking to Grant Winston here from Current Power Technologies. Grant, thank you very much for your time. I know you're going to run off and take care of a million different things that you have going on over there. So thank you very much for your time. And thank you for everybody for listening to this week's Standby Generator podcast. Continue to listen to them. We've got a whole slew of them there. And Grant, thank you again for your time here today.
Yes, sir. I really enjoyed it. Thanks, Jim.
All right, great. Thanks. Thank you for tuning in to the Standby Generator podcast. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share. For more resources, tips, and to connect with other like-minded professionals, visit us at poweralliance.com or visit our social media pages. Until next time, keep powering up your business.